Welcome back to Crazy Gamers Games, and this is part 22 of my building of an Adeptus Mechanicus army for the very first time. In the last video that is up right now, I talked about kit bashing a destroyer / breacher, magnetizing it with a Adeptus Mechanicus Imperial Knight kit. So this is what I came up with. He is magnetized, so he can have all the different arm options. It's all magnetized. Let me show you with the big arm on there, because then it'll be able to explain something with his head. Let's see. The pin just slots into this unit that's magnetized, and it just sticks right there. You see the size, that gun is huge, and I used a larger head. That head is from a Armiger, one of the extra heads from one of the Armiger class robots, and I ended up using that head other than the smaller head that came with the Imperial Knight kit, because it was just too small in comparison to this gun. This gun is massive, and it's massive on the Cataphrone destroyer in its normal look. So if I had cut this gun down and made it smaller to fit under the other shoulder pad, it looked goofy. The top part was too small for the body, because if you can see, it is a little small for this Trax, but the big gun and the big head makes it appear bigger, and that's one of the reasons I went with the larger faceplate from the Armiger. But I left the top open, and so you can see the magnet work. There's just a little 3 millimeter magnet and some green stuff in this body cavity right there. That's this section right here of the Knight kit. And then I put a larger 5 millimeter magnet in this side, and then I embedded 5 millimeter magnets in each of the housings for the main gun. And they just push in there with a pin, and because the magnet's so strong and the pin is steel, it holds it in place. It holds it in place for playing. It doesn't come off. So I'm going to make the pins a little bit longer. I made them longer on the bigger gun, but I had cut it down because I was trying to go in a different way, and my green stuff wasn't drying properly. But I found a way to cure it, and I think I'm going to switch to milliput or epoxy sculpt for this next part, the next one. But this was my first time ever kit bashing anything, and it took me a while to figure out a lot of things. There were some things I didn't understand on how to do, but the community helped out on that. But that is my kit bash for my army. Now, I had a lot of leftover parts. I had an upper body from the Cataphrone breacher destroyers, and then I have the lower section of these baby Imperial Knights, and I'm going to attempt to put the body on top of the Imperial Knight legs and some weapons from my bit box to make servitors, actual just plain servitors. And that's my goal. That was the whole reason I wanted to do this. I wanted some servitors. I don't like the fine cast resin ones. So I saw a picture of a guy who did something similar to this. He didn't cut down the shoulder pad or go to this extent with the magnets and things like that. And that's where I got the idea of combining the two kits, and then I came up with the larger face piece and the cutting off the shoulder for the larger gun access on it, and then the other side can switch between the flamer, the phosphorus blaster, or the hydraulic claw, or the arc claw. So that is first one done. Put them on a little bit bigger base, 65 mil Sector Mechanicus base. I'm just going to do 6 of these on these bases. This is how many of these I'm going to make, is 6 of these. So I have either 2 units of 3 or a unit of 6, and I'm going to be using the new Servitor Manipole in Vigilus. So that is the reason I wanted to do this kit bashing and create that, because I wanted to create the servitors that I could sacrifice to bring these units back. But I just want to go over, here's all the pieces I used from the different kits. These are the pieces right here from the Knight kit. Right here, it's basically just the body cavity pieces. They go together like a big Knight would go together. It's pretty much the same 4 pieces, and then the carapace just, you know, slots on top. I did not glue the carapace on as I was going through. I might glue them on later. There's a lot of green stuff work, and you need to access the inside, and you need to be able to. I cut this shoulder pad off, and I had to work it. After I removed it, I had to work it so that the gun didn't sit crooked. So I like to leave this unglued, and even currently on the finished model it's unglued, and I will glue it at some point. That was my first build, and so that's from the Imperial Knight kit. And then from the Cataphron kit, I basically just followed steps 1 through 4 on building the base. I didn't put the exhaust on it, and then I just added the armor panels for the breacher. There, the armor panels for the breacher on the sides, like so. And then I put this piece in, and then I put the front piece on, and then I used some polystyrene rod to make a riser to raise up the Imperial Knight. And then over here I have all the gun options, the 2 claw options, the 2 smaller weapon options, and then the 4 main gun weapons: the plasma cavalier, the grav cannon, the torsion cannon, and the arc rifle, I believe. And then I went ahead and I took out some of the clipped out some of the guns that come on the little knights in the Adeptus Mechanicus. I wanted to start calling them baby knights, but that's what I call the armigers, so it got really, really confusing. So I guess I could call them infant knights, I don't know. But I had a request to see what it would look like with one of these guns instead of like the phosphor blaster underneath the right arm. So that's what I'm going to do right here for you. So I'm just going to clean up these pieces. And I switched to a scalpel blade just recently, and I find it has made cleaning up the parts much easier. So, sorry about shaking the camera. So we're just gonna... So, in my Vigilus, we've played 4 games of Kill Team, and I believe I mentioned in a previous video, the first game, my Kill Team was broken and entirely shaken. Every unit was shaken by the end of the first battle round. So that was it. The Death Guard had overtaken me. So that was quite interesting. And then in the second battle, we went ahead and introduced commanders, and I used, in my AdMech, I used Janus Drake to try him out. He's not very expensive. He's cheaper than the Dominus, and he is a little bit more expensive than the Engine Seer, but I wanted to try him out, and I already had him built for Blackstone Fortress, so I didn't want to, and my Tech Priest Dominus and Engine Seer, they're not on bases yet because I'm currently painting them, and I'm painting their bases separate. So I wanted to be able to use a commander, so I figured I'd use Janus Drake. And then I'm also using the robot hero from Blackstone Fortress, UR 2529, the Man of Iron guy, and he's a pretty good unit in Kill Team. He's only 30 points, and it was nice. I mean, he filled out my team, kind of gave me a little bit more firepower and a little bit more melee, even though because I use my Admech kill team as an in between shooting and combat. I use rust stalkers, and I have an infiltrator leader, and then I use 2 rust stalkers, one as a combat specialist, that's a Princep, and then one as a zealot. And the combat specialist is the Princep, and then just a regular rust stalker is the zealot. And the combat specialist is the Princep, and then the Princep infiltrator is my leader. And then I use a transonic arquebus on a ranger, and then I have 3 vanguard with plasma guns, and then that's my that's basically my whole kill team. I just realized I glued that gun upside down. Okay, I fixed it. It was close. Glad I didn't use that quick set. So let's see what this plasma cannon looks like. Or thermal cannon, I'm sorry. Underneath this guy right there. Put a little poster tack on it so I can hold it in there. But that's with that's what it looks like with the thermal cannon. Actually, that doesn't look bad. I would use that for the phosphorus blaster as a sub for that. Yeah, I think that looks amazing. That guy on Facebook had an amazing idea. I'm gonna post some pictures of this in our Facebook unification group, and that looks pretty good. I'm gonna do the rapid fire battle cannon next and see what that looks like. So he mentioned he wanted to see a gun, but I can't for the life of me think of which gun he said. So I'm doing the 2 I think would sub for the phosphor blaster. I believe that's the gun. He didn't say the flamer, but I guess you could use the thermal cannon as a flamer substitute also. But he had a good idea. They look good. I mean, they're roughly the same size as the guns that are there currently. And these would be nothing to magnetize. Nothing to clean them up. Just give them a little clean up. Tiny little parts. These little infant knights is what I'm calling them. These are so cute. I mean, it is insane how small these guys are. When I first saw them, I was like, well, they're perfect size to fit into AdMech, but what can I do with them? And then I saw a post of a guy that combined them, and I was like, wow, you know, that's awesome. So I figured I'd give it a try, and I'm very happy with the results. So I wish I could remember the name of the post or find the post that inspired me to do it. So I would love to give the guy credit because it was just so awesome. But I mean, he didn't go, like I said, he didn't go as far with the magnets, I believe, and he didn't trim down the carapace shoulder. But I went ahead and did that. Did a lot of green stuff work. But there you go. That is it with I believe that's the thermal cannon. I mean, that could sub for the phosphorus blaster, and I guess you could do... Oh, that's the rapid battle cannon. This is the thermal cannon. And I guess that thermal cannon could sub for a flamer. So, I think I'm going to magnetize these weapons and just, just to have them, swap them in and out. See what people think. So I just wanted to do a little work on camera, talk with you guys about, this process I did on kit bashing this. It was a new experience for me. I basically, the only thing I did was I got a pack of these infant knights, and I already had the destroyers. They weren't built yet, so I went that route, and I just wanted to, do a good kit bashing. I think it worked out, and I'm hopeful for the servitors that I'm going to make out of the other bits left from these kits. And I had ordered a Devastator squad, the Space Marines Devastator squad, because it comes with heavy bolters, plasma cannons, multi-miltas, and missile launchers and other things. But the heavy bolter and the plasma cannon and the multi-milta are all weapons servitors can take. So I'm looking forward to converting up some servitors with those weapons from the Devastator Space Marines kit. So, and that one kit is going to provide me with, I want to say 8 weapons. Maybe it's only 6, but there might be one more that I'm missing that comes in there. But it basically came with every weapon that the servitors can take in a loadout. So they're big weapons, but I think the bodies from these Cataphrone destroyers and breachers will fill it out. We'll be able to support the weapons. Trying to figure out what I want to do arm-wise on the servitors, because most of the guns have Space Marine arms attached to it, and I don't know if that's going to look good. I don't really have any AdMech arms to convert those to. I was going to take the Space Marine arms and add some bits from Necron arms to give it that kind of robot metal pieces patched together kind of thing, and maybe use leave the hands Space Marines that are on the guns, but then chop off the main meat of the arm, and then chop up a Necron arm and place it on there to give it that robot arm kind of appeal to it. I'm not quite sure. I'm still looking at all the sprues. I had received a copy of Forgebane with when I first decided to do this AdMech army build, and I had all the Necron bits from Forgebane that I wasn't really using. So I the other day I tore into the sprues to see what was on them, and there's a lot of single Necron arms that I could take like a forearm from or a upper arm from and convert them to kind of look like AdMech arms. So that's going to be the next project, and hopefully it comes together. I also was told that through research that the Goliath gang, I believe, from Necromunda is a good body for servitors. I don't have that kit. I've looked at it online, and I've seen people that converted that gang up to servitors, and it looks pretty cool. If I go that route, which I may go that route, I would like to like take one of their legs off and like maybe replace it with one of these infant knight legs to make them more robotic, because I don't want them to have like all meat body. I would like to have a lot of robot body. So that's where I'm wondering if I could sub a Necron arm here, because I know my overall AdMech army, a detachment of them fought the Necrons on Forgebane, and then they raided the bodies and all their technology, which is forbidden, but they did it in secret, and they brought all of this stuff back to Call, and I'm gonna say that Call kind of manipulated it and kind of hid the iconography on some of it and incorporated it into some servitors and used some of the technology and building other units for the AdMech kind of in secret, secretly using it. And then while he was doing this, he ended up sending a larger detachment to from his Mars unit to Vigilus, and he also sent the unit from Forgebane. He had them meet up with the unit on Vigilus. So I'm going to take a Tech Priest Dominus and maybe kit bash it with the Cryptech from Forgebane. And it's kind of like the Tech Priest Dominus led the fight at Forgebane, and then killed the Cryptech, and then kind of used his metal body part to augment his look, so he could look like raised out of the air like the Cryptech is, and maybe kind of put some of that Cryptech's staff, incorporate it into the Domus's Omniscient Axe. I don't know if that would work lore-wise. Like, I don't know if the Necrons can use, like if AdMech could use Necron bits and stuff, like or does it like liquefy when the unit is destroyed or whatnot. I don't know enough about Necron lore to know if that's possible. If anybody has any ideas on that, you can leave a comment below. But that's my basic premise of it, and I want to do a nice kit bash between the Cryptech and the Dominus to make like my own special custom Dominus. I basically just looked at the sprues so far, and I like I like what I see so far. So I think I could do some stuff with it, little green stuff work and putting some pieces together. So I'm going to work on that. I still got a lot more debating to do on how I'm going to do that, or even if doing it is, going to work with the lore. So I have to do some more research in there on whether or not, you could even function using a Necron part, like a Necron part of the armor, if it would like corrupt you or something like that. But I always could, in the lore of my guys, be like they found a way to overcome and seize through researching the Xenos technology. They found a way to harness the parts of the Xenos that they find, like they come across like orc weaponry. They could like incorporate some of the weapons, and because they do a lot of research on the orcs or Necrons, when they kill Necrons or Tyranids, like they can swap out their arc mauls for like bone swords, and they've learned to like control the bone swords, and they don't like corrupt them. But that's just what I'm thinking on that. So y'all let me know what you think about that. In the comments. So I'm just going to glue this on here with some to be a quick set. Okay, let that sit for a minute. Actually, it doesn't even take that long. So I'm going to put this piece on. Little joint right there. A little bit down the middle there. Yeah, I really like this quick set stuff. Works good. Gets me building faster. I'm doing an experiment later today on curing milliput or green stuff in a toaster oven at low heat. There we go. That was nice. Squeezed it a little too hard. But, yeah, curing milliput or green stuff in only like 20 or 30 minutes in a low heat toaster oven, and hopefully it doesn't do anything to the plastic I embedded in, or like the magnets get too hot. So I'm doing an experiment later where I am gonna mix up some green stuff and put it in in some plastic with a magnet, and I'm going to cook it on about 100 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes. Pull it out, let it cool down, and see if it got hard. And then if it came close to it, I'll do another one, and I'll just do it for 15 minutes and see what happens. But the research I've done so far, it shouldn't take but 10-15 minutes at about 100 to 115. My only concern is the plastic surviving at that temperature. I'm pretty sure resin wouldn't make it, but I'm not sure if the plastic would hold up to it, especially if like there was a metal magnet in it. If the magnet would get too hot and melt some of the plastic, or lose its lose its magnetism from the heat. So that's my next goal. So I'm gonna leave this here. This video is already 27 minutes long, so I will pick up in another video of building the rest of this. So for Crazy Gamer Games, I'm the Crazy Gamer. Have a great day.